So one of the really important factors of the 5 is the build quality, the design and the finish. It's often very overlooked. Again, it's very easy to be sucked in by something that looks really great on the surface, but when you start picking it apart, that's when you can get a little bit of disappointment set in. You've got to remember, so when you see a caravan at the caravan show or on the show floor, you're only going to be in it for an hour or two tops. When you're using this caravan, you're going to be in it for quite a few hours. So you need to think about the small things that are going to add up later. So when you're looking at the finish of a caravan, are all the cupboard doors even? Are there big gaps everywhere? Are there gaps between the furniture and the walls? Is the silicone beading all nice and neat and even and in the right colour? Have they put lots of thought? So lift up the seats. Have they put a nice line seating underneath, or is it all just raw timber? And have they only paid attention to the bits that you can see, or have they gone through the whole van and made sure it's a really nice finish? Some brands stand out very well for having a nice finish, and a lot of them don't. A lot of it is just on your general overlook, and people go and buy a caravan with not spending a lot of time in and get it later and go, oh, that's not really what I anticipated. The other thing too, caravans can have a lot of features, a lot of bang for your buck seemingly, but we find, especially on a lot of the imported stuff, the bang for your buck is great until you go to use something and it doesn't work. There's no point having a huge list of features if half of them don't work when you need to use them. I find it's things that slide out kitchens and external hatches and what have you, all fantastic, but if they're not designed properly and they don't actually work when you need them to work, it's a worthless feature. The other thing to think of as well is, how is the caravan built? How is it constructed? What thought has gone into that design? The vast majority of caravans, I'm probably going to say about 85 to 90% of brands, are all built almost exactly the same. So using stick and staple timber frame, which is fine, it's been around for a very long time, but it's nothing special, and the build quality that typically when you see the caravans apart, like we often do, leaves a little bit to be desired. Have they used an aluminium frame, or have they used a rounded plywood frame like on the Wonderlands? That's probably our favourite at the moment. What sort of design process has gone into that? Can you see that they've spent a lot of time designing the caravan, or have they just put it together and hoped for the best? A lot of manufacturers just build caravans the same way they've been doing it for the last 60-70 years. Although that's okay, it's 2021, you can probably do a lot better. You should also ask yourself some questions. What sort of materials have they used? Can you see that they've used the expensive coloured aluminium composite sheets, or have they just used the cheap Chinese ones? What does the chassis look like? Is it 4mm still, or is it 2.7? What sort of components are inside the kitchen? Have they got the very nice sinks and taps and fittings? Have they concealed the hinges well? Have they put thought into how the doors open without creasing? Have they put adjustment in hinges? Or have they just used piano hinge all the way through? You really need to look at the nitty-gritty of caravans. This is probably one of the most important bits, is the build, design and quality. Have a look at the electrical systems. That's probably the easiest giveaway on a caravan. Lift up the seat or open the cupboard or wherever it happens to be. Have a look at it. It's a bit of a giveaway. If you can look at it and the wiring looks like a bird's nest, it looks like there's no real thought in how it's been designed, you can probably put a fairly good bet on that the rest of the caravan is similar. If you can't get an electrical system right, you often don't get the rest of it right. Most of the ones that we see come through are quite average, and that's on the high-end brands. A lot of brands of caravan don't advertise themselves as a run-of-the-mill or average caravan. They'll advertise themselves as a high-end brand. There's quite a few of the bigger name brands that aren't particularly anything special. They've just got very good marketing. So you really have a look at the electrical systems, have a look at the nitty-gritty, have a look at how it's constructed, and don't just take the salesman's word for it. Ask to see examples of how it's built. Yeah, you shouldn't just accept one person's opinion. You should have a really good look. Some of the best people to ask are the people who actually fix them. We do probably 2,000 different caravans a year. We pull them all apart and we get to see what they're constructed out of. So our other repairers will be exactly the same. Caravan repairers are probably your best bet to get a good opinion. Good luck, happy caravan searching. If you've got any questions, we're always here at 18 Tesla Road in Rockingham. You give us a buzz on 1300 73 72 70. If you've got any questions at all, advice is always free. Happy hunting and good luck at the caravan show.